This is Teo, regular speaking voice, coming from Rockdale. Do you want me up or down? Up levels, master level, coming up a bit. How about that? Too much? That's fine. I'll get a little bit excited. Okay, just testing the peaking here. We're counting down to kickoff. Maybe down a tad. Okay. How about now? All right. Send me a text if you need it changed during the call. Pardon? I think I got my earbuds here. I think I can test the stream. So we've got teams in the tunnel, and we're not far away from the walkout here at Ilinden Sports Centre for the final round of NPL Men's New South Wales. We'll have lineups for you shortly as soon as the teams head out onto the pitch. Good afternoon from the Ilinden Sports Centre. It's the final round of NPL Men's New South Wales home and away, with finals-bound Rockdale landlocked into 4th place and Sydney FC in 10th. They can finish either 10th or 11th depending on today's results. So it is a very different-looking Rockdale this afternoon with finals to look forward to next week. They've rotated heavily, and Sydney FC signing off from the NPL season for one last encounter. Teo Pellizzeri with you for this match. Let's get to the lineups as both teams line up out on the pitch. Sydney FC are the home side for today's game, and they have named Alex Zavadinos in goal, 4 Miles Milliner, 6 Tyler Williams, 9 Matthias McAllister, 10 Tay Headley, 19 Jordan Grorowski, 21 Zach DeJesus, 24 Jared Middleton, 27 Lachlan Middleton, 29 Joe Lacey, and 33 Marin France. Let's go to the Rockdale starters now. Their goalkeeper, Nick Soros, between the sticks. 4, James Nikolovsky. 9, Moody Najar. 15, Daniel Ray Durovic. 16, Michael Marchevsky. 18, Jerry Skatatis. 23, Oliver Pufflet. 31, Stefan Simonoski. 46, Paul Callum Vokas. 88, Chris McStay. And 99, Matthew Karamalevsky. On the benches for the respective teams, Sydney FC backup keeper Jacob Kremen Cowan, 16 Nick Zrilic, 20 is Oscar Gultekin, 23 Junior Conde, 39 Dylan Rose, and 44 is Kalen Marshall-Witt. And on the bench for Rockdale, 28, Stephen Kreizis, 30, James Nikovsky, 34, Dean Yovchevsky, 36, Evangelos Kalamvokis, and 39, Lucas De Silva, and 40, Masa Musa Swala. So no Alec Urashevsky today, no Brendan Chalakian today, no Ali Orgler today for Rockdale. Some of their big guns are having a game off. Will it serve them well in the countdown to finals? Because they have been out of form and out of sorts. And so maybe a week to freshen off, a game off, and maybe some new faces just enjoying some game time might be what they need to rejuvenate their fortunes heading into finals. Today's referee is Danny Horsted. It's a modest crowd at Ilinden, not what you'd normally expect for a Rockdale game. They are the away team today, but all of the same Rockdale faces were at the gates on the way into the club. It is, of course, their home ground under regular circumstances. So that whistle gets us underway. All games kicking off concurrently on the final day of NPL Men's New South Wales home and away, albeit with not a great deal at stake in this one. Sydney FC can finish in 10th place with a win, because they would guarantee their spot on the table. And a cursory glance at the table could suggest they could finish as low as 12th. However, St George are playing Manly today, and only, of course, one of those two teams then can leapfrog Sydney FC into 10th place should they leave the door ajar, as we see an early corner conceded by Middleton here, and a chance for Rockdale to go on the attack. Rockdale, by contrast, they start the day on 54 points, can't move up, can't move down. And as the fourth-placed finisher, they will be waiting to see who finishes fifth out of Sydney United 58 and Blacktown City, depending on today's results, in order to sort out who they'll be playing in the first week of finals. So an in-swinging corner and a solid header away. Sydney FC defending their penalty box aptly as Callum Vokis takes over possession for Rockdale and sends it out to the left. And now they look to build. Ilinden looking for the early goal as it bent in towards Moody Najjar and is cleared away. And now the underlapping run is teasing the cutback, attempting to find Oliver Pufflet, but again, Sydney FC's defence are able to stand firm. If you're a Rockdale fan, I certainly wouldn't begrudge you going for the multi-screen experience today, as am I, because the Preston Lions are 2-0 up against the Oakley Cannons down in Melbourne. Of course, there's a great affinity between the Macedonian-backed clubs in Sydney and Melbourne alike. That match is half an hour ahead of this one. Of course, Rockdale looking forward to finals of their own and a knockout final of their own next week. How they prepare today will be all important, as a ball down the right-hand side here, hoping for Najjar, is cleared away, and now Lachlan Middleton sends the ball back to his goalkeeper, Alex Zavadinos, the successor to Gus Herfslut, who's now the number one in the Sydney FC A-League team, having started the season, of course, as the NPL goalkeeper for this very side. Think back to the last time I was here at Rockdale calling a Sydney FC home game, and Herfslut was playing between the sticks, was on a great run of form at the time, and it's been rewarded with senior A-League selection for the coming season, and I'm sure plenty of the Sydney FC players out here on the pitch will be aspiring to similar progression if they can get their development and their careers on the right track. Ball down the right-hand side. Karamalevsky takes possession for Rockdale and is able to play it back into the penalty area to Nikolovsky. Maybe overcooked it just a little, but Marchevsky is back to help out. Sydney FC eager in the press, and as the ball dips into the shadows that are just starting to creep out onto the pitch, it is a goal kick. A 3 p.m. kickoff all around metropolitan Sydney and up onto the coast Gosford today, where it's all happening with the relegation battle. Two key battlegrounds today. NWS Spirit playing Mount Druitt, and also Central Coast Academy playing the Western Sydney Wanderers. No such concerns for Sydney FC. They were never really in trouble of relegation this season due to banking a couple of good results in the first 10 games out of the 30-game campaign. And even for a little while there during games 10 to 20, they looked like they might even push for the top 6. But their form has certainly softened in the final third of the season. As we see the offside flag up for the first time today against Moody Najjar. So first 5 minutes largely on Rockdale's terms. Sydney playing out from the back with a little bit of hassle, but Miles Milliner, the Australian under-17 international, has got himself into a jam and trying to get himself out of a jam, but he's been caught in possession by Chris McStay. And now down the right side goes Oliver Pufflet. He breaks into the box, cuts it across. Rockdale players lining up. McStay with a left-footed attempt, and Rockdale lead. It's Chris McStay, a move he started by winning the ball in midfield, and he's had the finishing touch. Left foot lifted into the corner. And that's an early goal for Rockdale to set the tone this afternoon. And they lead 1-0. Jimmy Van Veeren, the Sydney FC coach, explodes off the bench, not happy with how his team gave possession away. But Chris McStay, a Rockdale favourite who spent a couple of seasons away at the Wollongong Wolves and made his return this campaign. He runs all day, but he's got his afternoon off to the perfect start here with a well-placed goal. And so, having had the better of the first 5 minutes, Rockdale get an early reward, and they throw the gauntlet down to Sydney FC to really test how seriously they want to finish their NPL season here. It may be a dead rubber as far as real consequences, but there is still a ladder position to play for Sydney FC this afternoon, either 10th or 11th, depending on their result. Here's Milliner. Crunching slide challenge in midfield, and Rockdale are on the move as a result. Down the left-hand side went Simonoski. It's been cleared away by Zavadinos. Ball bounces up off the synthetic. Through comes Marin France for Sydney FC. And a foul after a tangle here involving Tay Headley. He was the player trying to crawl out from under the feet of a Rockdale opponent. Sydney FC with the throw-in front of the grandstand. As Rockdale try to clear the ball from left back, and they do so successfully with Michael Marchevsky. Now he's turning the ball back into his defensive line. Skitardis received the ball well in midfield and kept it moving to Pufflet. And now Callum Vokas. Early ball, Skitardis pulling out the little back heel. That was cunning. Nikolovsky, and the build-up continues. Karamalevsky sends the ball over to the left side. Najjar. Header to clear the lines from Zach de Jesus. Long shade of possession here for Rockdale. Nikolovsky. Skitardis. Paul D up to the edge of the Rockdale technical area. Eagerly instructing, but there's been a slip and possession is given away after Michael Marchevsky failed to control the ball. Marin France. Oh, left-footed shot is in. Good finish. Sydney FC a level. And it's a quick exchange of goals to get this contest started. Marin France, when he scores, they're generally pretty good goals, and that was no exception. Got his angles spot on and makes it 1-1.
Score is Rockdale 1, Sydney FC 1.
And so Rockdale will be disappointed that they've coughed up the early lead, and all it took was just a little misstep in midfield. It was Michael Marchevsky who didn't quite step in and collect the pass. The ball just rolled beyond him. And as soon as Sydney FC seized possession, they punished in the other direction. So both goals can be directly attributed to giving possession away in midfield. And then the swift execution of a short-range attack in order to go and run the ball in. So both teams have a goal under their belt. It might lead us to a bit of a high-scoring afternoon. It was a very tepid 0-0 draw for Rockdale last weekend. So hopefully, even if there isn't a great deal at stake, they can entertain us today. Here's Zavadinos, got to clear from the edge of the 6-yard box, and he does so ably out to De Jesus. He's caught in possession initially. Skitadis came charging in. De Jesus able to recover. He finds Middleton. Strokes the ball into midfield, and Sydney are on the build through Joe Lacey. Lacey herring forward. He was thinking about a long shot. He got his pocket picked at the last second, but he recovers the ball. Big deflection. France, the goal scorer for Sydney. He wheels around, plenty of space to dictate. Lacey dinks it in. Oh, keeper shouted for the ball, Nick Soros. And he's gone outside the penalty area, has he? No. Referee says all good, legal. Gee, it was a literal line ball decision there, and the assistant referee perhaps wouldn't have had the best view due to the positioning of Nick Soros' body. It's the last thing that they would need for him to receive a suspension if he was to get himself sent off in this game. Today's referee is Danny Horsted. He's watching on here as Sydney go forward. Matthias McAllister can't make a play at the ball as Kerem Malevsky comes in to head away. Skitadis and Callum Vokas combining. Skitadis out of the traffic. It was a little bit of a hospital ball back to Pufflet, but now Rockdale have got a bit of breathing space with Nikolovsky. Sydney FC press right to the edge of the box. Marchevsky. Now from left back, they will look to clear. The goal scorer, McStay, was on the end of Danny Ray Jurovic's pass, but Sydney have now wrestled back possession in midfield. Lachlan Middleton. Here goes Joe Lacey. Tries to thread the through ball for McAllister. It's been intercepted. Rockdale trying to clear their lines. Backheel from McStay. Now he receives the ball. Marchevsky. McStay. Now the ball sent out to the right. Here's Pufflet. Skitadis. Callum Vokas into the middle. Marchevsky and Kerem Malevsky. The centre-back tried to take the game on there, Kerem Malevsky, and he's had his possession stripped away. Lacey, a bit of late contact on him, but Matthias McAllister's through ball. Soros makes a one-on-one save. The follow-up header is going to go wide and out for a goal kick. Or is it? No, it's a corner. The appeals were coming thick and fast from both sets of players. There's a bit of uniform drama here for one of the Sydney FC players. I think he's taking off his undershirt, realising what a hot day it is today. Might only be 22 or 23 degrees on the thermostat, but the bright sun plus the synthetic turf, it would feel not too dissimilar to a summer's day out there. Ridiculous to say in August, I know. Here comes the corner kick. Sydney FC trying to take the lead, having fallen behind early. In it comes. Soros with a double-fisted punch away. And Skatatis clears from the edge of the box. Pufflet takes possession. It was Tyler Williams, the player there, who went for the quick uniform change. Here's Tay Headley. Dinks the ball through a gap. Marin France running out of real estate, and he's body checked by Nikolovsky right on the byline. Nothing too untoward about it. It's out for a quickly taken goal kick, and Rockdale are away. Possession turned over. Coughed up to Matthias McAllister here at the edge of the box. He's legged, and the referee waves away the appeals for a foul. Well, Sydney FC are not happy about that. He had a pretty good case for a penalty there, to be honest. But Danny Horsted's put the whistle away. France feeds it through this time for Jordan Grorowski. It's Grorowski from the left side of the box. He bides his time. The ball comes back to Middleton. Shot it into a sea of legs. Lacey with a volley. And another well-timed clearance from the Rockdale defenders. And now it is roosted clear by Simonoski. Sydney FC have raised the tempo of this game. Fourth official still getting an earful from the Sydney FC bench. As the ball runs over to France. He's legged, and this time Danny Horsted has found his whistle, because that's a pretty hard foul from Paul Kalamvokis, and so it will just be a free kick, a mid-ranger here for the young Sky Blues. 16 minutes ticked by. So here's Joe Lacey's free kick. In swinger and headed away by Nikolovsky. Headley keeps the ball in. He dips into the shadows over on the right side. Tay Headley combines with Middleton. Cross whips to the penalty spot, and now a volley over the bar. That was an acrobatic attempt from Matthias McAllister, but he just couldn't quite keep it down. However, the threat of he and Jordan Grorowski, the two forwards today, is really starting to become apparent. Now Rockdale are on the move. Skatatis sends it out to the left channel. And gets the return ball. Skatatis cuts it across the box. Pufflet arrived late. Whistles in the mouth, and indeed a foul given. And the Rockdale fans over on the hill make their voices heard. However, I think you could see that one coming. Just a quick look around the grounds to see if we've got any other early goals. I can tell you that Marconi's 1-0 up against Sutherland, and that is it. We've had more goals than every other game combined so far. There's been an early red card from Mount Druitt, so their prospects of avoiding relegation have taken an early hit. And now, after a bit of a delay, a restart from the free kick, and Sydney FC are playing out from the back. Jurovic takes the throw in. Here's Skatatis. Simonoski. Couldn't connect the return pass. Possession taken by Headley of Sydney FC. Back to Middleton he goes. This is Jared Middleton. Headley just shouts her forward, goes to Joe Lacey. Lacey pops it over to the right. De Jesus has got to go. He committed to the ball. He's a little slippery underfoot though, and has it extracted away from him by Jurovic, who goes long and can't get it any further than Williams at the centre of defence. Great play by Middleton, weaving through midfield. And now from the right side, things just come to a standstill. Real frustration in the body language of the Sydney FC staff. However, they're back on the move again. Long shot, all just wide. Flashing wide left of the post from Tay Headley there. He tried his luck from distance. Just eavesdropping on Jimmy Van Veeren here with his instructions to the players over on the right side that just pulled up the handbrake on that attack, and you can see it definitely wasn't what the coaching staff had been instructing. They're on the move again here, Sydney FC. No foul. Yes, a foul. A late whistle comes. But given the leniency of Danny Horsted so far, I was certain he might let that one slide. But the diminutive Tay Headley has been able to draw a free kick in shooting range here. And given some of the technicians in this Sydney FC team, there'll probably be no shortage of interested parties wanting to step up over the ball. Got news of a goal for Apia. They now lead away at Sydney Olympic 1-0. It's only the fourth goal to have gone in through 20 minutes so far today, though. So Headley, is he going to take the free kick that he was able to win? Off a short run up, and he can't dip it in time. It was certainly travelling, but he roosted it high and it never really dropped with any realistic chance of dipping under the crossbar, as the quick distribution draws an apology out of Soros, the goalkeeper, as he hit it behind his fullback, and so Sydney FC have the throw in, and thus they have possession. Lachlan Middleton plays it back to Williams. Now Lacey distributing from centre midfield. The ball holds up. Oh, it's bounced past Callum Vokas. It gives Grorowski a chance. Jordan Grorowski at the edge of the box, and the ball's been taken off his feet. Rockdale can't clear their lines though. Tay Headley nicks in. It's really causing some headaches at the moment, but that pass won't advance Sydney FC any further. Simonowski comes in and wins the ball away. Moody Najar. And as Rockdale shout at their fellow defenders to get up, Nikolovsky at the centre of that defence, doing the captaincy and the work. De Jesus and Joe Lacey. A slip and given away by De Jesus. McStay at the edge of the box. Can't keep hold of the ball for long though. Lockie Middleton or Marin France was waiting on his heels, and Callum Vokas came in and stole the ball, but his pass isn't able to match the defensive intercept. And now France, with a new lease of life, runs head first into the challenge that was coming from Michael Marchevsky and wins his team a throw in. Milliner. And Grorowski is given a real academy versus NPL sort of experience there. He was just nudged and pushed and ultimately coughed up possession. Here's McStay. Skitadis. McStay. Simonowski. Whips in the cross. It slides on, it sits up and is cleared away at the last second. Milliner wrapped his left foot round the ball in the nick of time. There were a couple of Rockdale players lurking. France. Headley tucks it back inside for Lacey. Lacey sends it over to Grorowski. He's got a little bit of space to work in here, Jordan Grorowski. He's able to keep his feet in the challenge. It's Grorowski. Can he free his feet for the shot? He hooks it wide left. And that was a good chance as it unfolded there for Jordan Grorowski, but he wasn't able to find his shooting radar there. And you just saw a little bit of hesitation as he tried to get his step right so that he could unleash a shot with maximum power. And he hooked it wide as a result. Jared Middleton able to clear. Oh, the assistant referee's getting a bit of protestation from the Rockdale attackers. It's not easy looking into the sun. I've got the sunnies on. Our assistant referee does not have such advantage. Now it's the Rockdale bench's turn to have a bit of a chirp at the fourth official. This play continues in the meantime. Here's France distributing to Headley. Look at De Jesus bombing forward down the right side. His run is honoured with a pass. He crosses in, and stooping to the ball is Nikolovsky, and that will be enough to defuse the Sydney FC attack. Build-up continues with Skitardis. Around the corner goes the pass, so Middleton comes in to take over for Sydney FC. Now De Jesus. Jared Middleton. Lacey through the right. De Jesus has stayed forward. Plenty of sky blue shirts in the penalty area for Sydney FC. Can Headley pick one of them out? He was hoping for McAllister, and he was about 30 centimetres away from connecting with the header there. Instead, it ends up in the keeper's gloves. Pufflet at the other end. He slips it through to Moody Najjar, and a good save. Zavadinos down with an outstretched right hand to foil Moody Najjar, and that was a lightning quick counter-attack from Rockdale. And you get that here at Ilinden on the synthetic. Sydney FC avoiding conceding their second of the afternoon. Skitardis. Najjar out to Pufflet. Skitardis. And he's able to win a corner. Jared Middleton standing tall and sending it out. As you can see, as this corner will come in, all the Sydney FC bench warming up down in the right-hand corner. Rockdale subs are all currently seated on the bench in front of us in the scaffold here at Ilinden. So here's a corner kick for Rockdale to try and retake the lead. To the far post it goes. Nikolovsky's header, and well held by Zavadinos. It was straight at him, and he's able to make a comfortable save. Lacey went for the outside of the foot pass. It's coming back with interest here. McStay bending it towards Najjar. It's Moody Najjar, and it's 2-1 to Rockdale. Well, you could see that unfolding as it happened. Chris McStay with a bending pass into the path of Moody Najjar. He stepped around onto his right foot, and he buried the finish into the bottom left corner. So it's Rockdale into a 2-1 lead. So we've ticked up to the 28-minute mark of the game. Well, it's been free-flowing entertainment so far. You couldn't possibly have a complaint about the spectacle on offer today, and it feels like there will be more goals in the offing. Both teams attacking each other, and yes, I'll remove the expletive, but go again is the message that's come from the goalkeeper, Nick Soros, after that one hit the back of the net. It's a different-looking Rockdale today. No Alec Urushevsky, no Brendan Chalakian, no Ali Orgler, but they have 2 goals. And to put that in context, during this rotten run of form they've been on, They lost 6-3 to the Spirit on the 19th of July, and they drew 2-2 with Sydney Olympic on the 16th of August, as we see the ball cleared away by Williams. But those are the only 2 times that they've scored 2 goals since the 6th of July. So it's been a pretty tough run for them, both in terms of results, but crucially goal scoring. So they'll be happy to have troubled the scorers twice already in the first half today. They've drawn a blank on 3 occasions in their last 5 games coming into today's contest. And for a team that's heading for finals and has a championship to play for, I guess you put the offer of extra time and penalties on the table if you're a team that can't score, but we all know that Rockdale are very much a team built around scoring a lot of goals. Here's Pufflet. There might be more on the way here. Oh, big collision between Zavadinos and Najjar in the middle as he lunged in to try to go for the tap-in. And play is whistled dead. Big impact there. Oncoming striker and goalkeeper. And I suspect Zavadinos might be the worst of the 2 parties here. Najjar's already back up on his feet. As the Sydney goalkeeper, I think the message has come to the bench. Don't worry about sending a trainer. He just needs to find his bearings here before he can return to the action. But full-blooded commitment from both players. So it's going to be a drop ball to restart play as a result of that collision. The ball had run out to the left wing. And it's cleared from left back by De Jesus. Onto the head of Karamalevsky. Skatatis brings it down. De Jesus clears from right back. Nikolovsky. It's being dispossessed by Middleton, and the ball breaks out in front of McAllister. Gorosky was herring for it in the middle, but a good defensive cover from Matthew Karamalevsky stops McAllister from swinging across in. So here's Nikolovsky. Rare bit of space in defensive midfield for Rockdale to distribute without having to engage with the press. Callum Vokas, McStay pops it over the top. And even though there is a little bit of backspin on it, not enough to draw any of the moving attackers into the mix. Just having a look at the Rockdale players that aren't playing today who've gathered down on the fence. Of course, Blake Rasciuto among them as well. Out comes the goalkeeper, Soros, and leading feet first, he gets to the ball before Marin France, who's just copped a little bit of a follow-through, and good sportsmanship from Soros there just to check on France, who's going to get up himself here a little bit sorer for his efforts. Lacey Middleton through the left channel, cut across by Milliner and out for a Sydney FC corner. So now it's the young Sky Blues' turn to go back on the attack. Lots of defensive instruction coming from Nick Soros as Rockdale await a Sydney FC corner. Headley driven to the edge of the box. It skims off France. Joe Lacey. He's collected by Nikolovsky, but the referee took no interest. And so Rockdale have the ball. Can they launch a counter-attack down the left side? Sydney FC have got players sprinting back into position in defence as Skatardis drives. McStay. And he's come unstuck. Marchevsky. It's a midfield battle for possession. Now things calm down a little bit. Here's Callum Vokis. He whips in across, and it's up for grabs. Well, it was a good leap coming in there from Najar to make it a contest with Zavadinos, and he got the touch because it's out for a goal kick in the end. And Zavadinos has to be his own ball boy and jump the fence. There's actually a penned-off area there, but thankfully the gate to it is open today in case someone sails a long shot into it behind the goal at the right of screen. Rockdale trying to press. Sydney FC looking for a way through. France. Middleton. And now Zavadinos. Good control by Marin France. Now Headley. Buzzing around Tay Headley. Joe Lacey, what a combination these two might be into the future. Diagonal ball for De Jesus. Rockdale able to play through. Marchevsky with a nice pass to Simonoski, and that might set Moody Najar away. He's got one already. He's taking on the Sydney FC defence single-handedly, waiting for support. Chris McStay at shooting range for him. He steps onto his left, and a good save away by Zavadinos. That was travelling, and it's behind for a corner kick. Oh, Chris McStay, he wanted one more stride towards the penalty box before he unleashed, and he tried to place it into the left side of the net, and Zavadinos at full stretch was able to tip it around the post. So McStay in front of the Rockdale fans will have a corner kick, but the referee wants to lay down the law due to a bit of push and shove at the near post here. It looks as though Tyler Williams and Stefan Simonoski are the two players who are being summoned for a talking to. So here's the corner kick. Chris McStay in swinging corner. Zavadinos rises above the pack and makes a good claim in the end. One grab and took it straight to ground without a bobble. His quick distribution has been held up, so he rolls it out instead. Here goes Middleton. Heard the shout from Milliner over on the left, but Pufflet backtracking has intercepted the pass. McStay. Skatardis tried for the slick 1-2. It was too hot to handle. Through comes Joe Lacey. Headley. De Jesus getting forward. He's got Simonoski tracking his run. He lifts in across. And it bends over the head of Matthias McAllister. Soros with a quick distribution. Was there a little bit of skullduggery there from Tyler Williams as he felled Moody Najar? The referee was right on the scene. So even though there was definitely a coming together, the referee didn't see a free kick. And so Sydney FC have the ball back. Coughed up by Lacey's committing a professional foul here. And that should be the first foul of the first card of the game. And Chris McStay, almost a little bit of a telling off for the young buck. Definitely didn't appreciate being fouled professionally there. And he's gone and thrown away what looked like a piece of tape or something inconsequential that came flying off as a result of the scuffle. So, first booking of the game, and Joe Lacey has the yellow card for Sydney FC. So, Daniel Ray Jurovic is going to take this free kick here. Drops it at the penalty spot. Flick header is going to have all the sting come out of it by the time it bounces up off the turf. Looked promising in the air, but it really decelerated off the surface there. Sydney FC quick as a flash down the other end. Headley trying to cut it back. And did it catch his hand last on the way out? It did. It's going to be a goal kick. McStay combines with Pufflet. Karamilewski. Forward go Rockdale. Simonoski taking on three defenders. It finds a way through. Pufflet is going to wheel back onto his left here. Shooting on the tight angle. It sits up and driven over the bar. What a good chance for Stefan Simonoski. Pufflet's initial effort was deflected into his path, but his shot was skied. And he had a free run at the ball there, so that was a great chance for Rockdale to extend their lead. Into the last 5 minutes of regulation at the end of this first half. And the score remains 2-1 in favour of Ilinden. France round the corner. Timed it to perfection because Milliner is away. He takes 30 metres. Oh, and the return pass just didn't have the power behind it to reconnect with its target. McStay and Skatatis combine. Marchevsky and Callum Vokas. Here is Michael Marchevsky. He's got to go. Chris McStay pops it forward, looking to combine with Moody Najjar. What a pass. It didn't have the finish to match. Oh, boy. That would have been quite the assist had it hit the back of the net. It was perfectly bent around the defender into the path of the striker. And Moody Najjar perhaps should have scored his second of the afternoon and Rockdale's third, because that is as good a pass as you'll see from Chris McStay. Tackle in midfield is going to be blown up by the referee. Michael Marchevsky there with a fairly obvious foul. A little tap of the ankles on Lachlan Middleton. Here's Headley. Finds France, and France. Oh, there's been a missed interception. Milliner, as a result, sends it through the 6-yard box, and that should have been a tap-in for Gurowski. He lunged after the ball and just didn't connect. And now, after Rockdale have a couple of gilt-edged chances at their end, maybe that could have been Sydney FC. The flag might have made it a moot point. But it was a good move nonetheless. So this first half ending with plenty of attacking intent here, and possession given away and a chance for Sydney FC again. Sydney FC got the free kick. Gurowski legged. Free kick taken quickly. France straight into a challenge from Nikolovsky. Marin France buzzing around, trying to create a bit of space. He doesn't like any of his passing options. Back to Lacey. Lacey was hoping for France. It's been intercepted, and McStay, the early ball. Najjar chasing. Williams and the goalkeeper, Zavadinos, able to work things out between the two of them. And now Tyler Williams out to the right. De Jesus. Wrestle to the ground, but play continues. Middleton puts his head down and barges forward. Can't get past Skotadis in the end. Here's Simonoski. McStay. Back to Stefan Simonoski. He's trying to skip down that left sideline, and now he's got into a tangle here. Oh, it's getting unfriendly at the end of this first half. It's Actor Jesus' turn to be part of the rough stuff, and it's resulted in Stefan Simonoski taking a bit of a heavy landing here, and he has not moved since going to ground. Referee's coming over to check in on him, and the trainer's going to be called. This one looked less than ideal as soon as he took that heavy impact over there in the shadows. And so in a first half that has moved quite quickly, we might be having a little bit of stoppage time tacked on right as we tick up to the 45-minute mark. So it gives me a chance to do a quick whip around of the scores elsewhere. We no longer have the highest scoring game of the day. We're in a tie with Marconi, who are 3-0 up against Sutherland. Manly United 1-0 up against St George. So as things stand, Manly would be taking 10th place and pushing Sydney FC down to 11th. If the history books matter to you. Spirit have taken a 1-0 lead against 10-man Mount Druitt. We're back underway with McStay running down to the corner and the ball cleared. Apia still 1-0 up against Sydney Olympic, and it's 0-0 between Central Coast and Western Sydney Wanderers. Also Blacktown City and Wollongong, as is the case with St George City and Sydney United 58. So at present, Mount Druitt are going down, and the relegation playoff is still delicately in the balance. We're going to end the first half with a long throw, it seems. Stefan Simonoski, I've seen him do this in the under-20s. He's a long throw specialist. It lands in the 6-yard box and eventually is cleared away. And that was the last act of the first half. A free-flowing and attacking affair so far. Chris McStay got the scoring started. Marin France with an equaliser shortly after. And then a strike from Moody Najjar in... I'll grab the minute for you in a second, but it was in the 28th minute. No goals since then. Arguably some of the best chances to score in the game since then, though. It's given us our halftime scoreline of Sydney FC 1, Rockdale Ilinden 2. We'll take a 10-minute break and be back with you for live action in the second half soon.
Simico Partners, MDL Customs and Compliance, Marco Polo Foods, our silver sponsors, Audrey Australia, your consolidated.
So both teams making their way out onto the surface for the second half here at Ilinden, where it is Rockdale 2 leading Sydney FC 1 at halftime of this round 30 NPL Men's New South Wales contest. Final home and away day of the season as things stand. Sydney would be slipping down to an 11th placed finish, and of course Rockdale cannot move out of 4th, and with their semi-final coming up midweek on Wednesday, they have heavily rotated their side for this contest. And the second half appears to be getting underway without any substitutions for either team. If you've only just joined us during halftime, it's Rockdale in the black and red stripes, Sydney in the blue, and Rockdale will be attacking the left of your screens in this second half. So underway at the start of the second half here at Ilinden. Final game of the NPL season for Sydney FC, and Rockdale preparing for a midweek semi-final with a rotated team, but crucially a lead. And they are trying to win in the league for the first time in some time. They were title contenders for much of the first two-thirds of the season, Rockdale, and have really only fallen out of the mix in the last 5 games. Scoreless against Sydney United in a 0-0 draw last week. A loss to Apia, a loss to Sutherland, a 4-0 win against Mount Druitt. As we see a battle in the air for headers. It's been 7 consecutive games since their last win, Rockdale. I'll have another go at reeling off their recent results. 0-0 draw against Manly United, 2-2 draw against Sydney Olympic, 1-1 against the Central Coast, 0-0 against Western Sydney, 0-0 against Sydney United, 6-3 loss to Spirit, 4-1 loss to Apia. Their last win was on the 6th of July, 3-1 away at Blacktown City. So they've been waiting for some time. If they can close it out here, at least they would take winning form into the must-win knockout semi-final on Wednesday night. Here's Chris McStay, one of the goal scorers from the first half. Trying to slide a through ball here, but he can't connect and it runs long. Joe Lacey fouled by Stefan Simonoski. Simonoski, who was one of the players that had an excellent chance to score towards the end of the first half, which could have pushed Rockdale out to a 3-1 advantage. Here's Sydney FC's goal scorer, Marin France, playing it to Tay Headley. Headley, oh, Simonoski's done very well to get into his running path there and nick the ball off his toes. Skatardis. Now the clearance down the line. Sydney FC have one sub that's come on. Kalen Marshall-Witt, the number 44. He's out there on the pitch, just trying to use process of elimination to see who made way for him. Ball over the head of Jordan Gorowski, running on to Matthias McAllister as he takes the ball outside the penalty area. McAllister has got an overlapping runner, and the ball is deflected out for a corner kick. And so Sydney FC are on the attack at the start of the second half. Looks like Miles Milliner has made way as well for Sydney FC. And they've brought on Nicholas Zdrilic at left back. So 2 changes for Sydney FC at half-time. And they have an opportunity here to try to level things back up with a corner kick. Tay Headley to take. Big pack of players congregated at the near post. Nick Soros wearing a hat for Rockdale. In comes the corner. Soros is able to bobble it into his path, catch and distribute. So away goes Skatatis. Outside of the foot pass, Najar. And Najar's cross to no one in particular. He got better of Marshall Witt, but wasn't able to bring any teammates into play. Zavadinos clears as far as Grurovski. And on the run here for Sydney FC is Dylan Rose. Through the left channel, Grurovski. Lacey leaves it with Grurovski. Now Zdrilic. Rose. And the pass just a little bit too much on it, and it runs for a goal kick. So to the best of my head count here, I think it's Lachlan Middleton who's made way at half-time as one of the subs. Miles Millen are definitely one of the others, and Zach De Jesus makes 3. So those are the 3 changes for Sydney FC. I'll confirm them again in a moment. It's not like, as we see Rockdale on the attack, here's Pufflet offside. And he was foiled by the goalkeeper in any case. Late contact here. Referee's seen the foul and is going to be producing the second yellow card of the game. Goes the way of Stefan Simonoski. He joins Tay Headley in the book. Sorry, Joe Lacey in the book, I should say. All right, so recapping the triple sub at halftime for Sydney FC. Miles Milliner, Zach De Jesus, and also Lachlan Middleton subbed out of the game. And the 3 players coming on, number 16, Nicholas Zdrilic, number 39, Dylan Rose, and number 44, Kalen Marshall-Witt. No changes as yet for Rockdale, who hold this 2-1 lead. Ball is cleared long by Danny Jurovic. So Rockdale haven't done a great deal of attacking so far in this second half, but they get a good chance here with a corner kick. In comes the corner, punched away by the goalkeeper, trapped in the penalty area. Referee, to the shouts of Rockdale's bench and also all their non-selected senior players who are outside the fence next to the bench, waved away the push. McStay. McStay from distance, blocked away by Tyler Williams. Middleton finds Rose. Rose is going to set the runners away. This is promising from Zdrilic. McAllister taken off his toes, but the follow-up from Joe Lacey. Lacey shoots from a long way out and puts it just wide of the left-hand post. Didn't catch it how he might have hoped, I suspect, when he first lined up that long shot. Matthew Karamalevsky out from the centre of defence. Paul Kalamvokis. Here goes Jurovic. Simonoski trying to connect with the run. Here's Skitardis. High ball to the edge of the penalty area. McStay, and it will bounce into the gloves of the keeper. Safely held onto. Zavadinos rolls it out, and Sydney FC start from the back. Lacey with a long ball over the top. It's been covered capably by Keremalevsky. Nikolovsky. Jurovic. Simonoski plays it into the path of Moody Najjar. Big heavy touch as he jags inside. The ball's going to sit up kindly for him though, and the shot is parried by the keeper. It spills, and there'll be a foul to get Sydney FC out of danger as a result committed by Moody Najjar. Very decent chance there for Oliver Pufflet though, and bobbled a little bit and required a parried save away from Alexander Zavadinos. So from right back, Tyler Williams. Lacey. Marshall Witt. Oh, back heel was lightning quick from Matthias McAllister. He got a heavy body check for his trouble, and the referee couldn't possibly let that one slide. Free kick given. Marshall Witt plays it to Joe Lacey. Lacey uncorks another long diagonal. Zdrilic chasing it down towards the corner. He's got Paul Kalamvokis right there with him one-on-one, and the defender refused to be beaten. However, he has conceded a throw-in. Ball clipped into the penalty area to no great danger, and out for another goal kick. So no change to the halftime score. It's been 2-1 since the 28-minute mark. We're approaching the hour. Sydney FC acted early with their triple change. You wonder when Rockdale might turn to the bench due to the youth already out there on the pitch and the inexperience. It may not necessarily be in the plans to rotate even further. Here's McStay. A couple of members of the Rockdale bench just stepping out from behind it to look at the electronic scoreboard, which is right next to the scaffold that we film from here. Danny Jurovic around the corner with the pass. Not quite to the advantage of Simonoski, who's got to be careful now that he's on a yellow card. You just saw a little bit more apprehension from him rather than a full-blooded attempt at a tackle. However, Sydney have conspired to still give away an infringement, and so Skitardis has a dead ball right here. The Sydney bench, a few outstretched hands in disbelief, but they quickly call off the protest. Sydney FC perhaps getting wise to Rockdale wanting to take every free kick quickly, but they're still able to work their way through the traffic. Out to Skitardis on the left. He's got Jurovic. McStay. Simonoski, underlapping run from Skatatis, and it's batted away at the near post. And then headed out for a corner kick. And that was nearly 3-1 Rockdale. Jerry Skatatis taking aim on a tight angle. So Rockdale have got the ball living down their attacking end at the moment. But we know that Sydney FC, particularly here at Ilinden, can be a very rapid transitional counter-attack team. So absorb and counter might be the order of the minute. Can Rockdale find Matthew Karamalevsky? He's the obvious tall target, the number 99, getting plenty of attention inside the penalty area as we build the anticipation of this corner. It's spiralling in on the far post and over all and sundry, out for a goal kick. It's been just a little bit of a cooler change coming through. It was only about 22 or 23 degrees at kickoff. There's a little bit of a breeze now. So even though it is bright sunshine, it should still be very comfortable for the players. Not too warm. These unexpectedly sunny and warm days at the end of winter and the start of spring can certainly catch out people. There is a nice cool breeze whipping over the Ilinden Sports Centre at the moment as Sydney FC try to play out from the back. And the header is going to set Pufflet into the chance, but he's had his pass blocked, and now Marin France, Sydney FC, not afraid to resort to the long ball in this second half as an outlet. However, Rockdale are awake to the danger. Pufflet. Callum Vokas. Crosses channels. That's really nice from Simonoski. And he's been able to meet Jurovic in stride. Oh, the build-up was promising, but there wasn't a finish to go with it. That was really nice, though, from Stefan Simonoski. And Danny Jurovic was on the same wavelength there. The cohesion came off almost perfectly. That was really nice. You wouldn't know it's minute-starved backup players getting their opportunity out there today when you see things like that. Najar challenging at the edge of the box. Bit of back and forth in midfield. Dylan Rose is able to break out into open space. Rose pops it over the top, flags up. It looked as though Grorowski had straight offside. Play's just going to continue. Oh, big collision. Simonoski's on a yellow, don't forget. Advantage given. Sydney FC are away. Marshall Witt, the player, felled. Lacey on the ball in the meantime. Marshall Witt back to his feet in back play as the header away from Nikolovsky clears. Tay Headley, underlapping run. Lacey collected. Everything stopped, and now the referee waves, get up, get up. Everyone stopped and waited on the referee. A moment of tension. And now the ball is live again at the feet of Middleton. Out to the left. Really nice turn and spin away. It's McAllister on the ball. And a good one-on-one challenge from Callum Vokas is able to stop him advancing into the box. Crunching challenge comes in from Najar. Not able to win the ball away, though. Sydney FC have possession and they go backwards to consolidate. They're readying a sub. Junior Conde is going to be coming on. It looks as though Rockdale are going to switch their goalkeepers as well to put Nick Soros in cotton wool ahead of Wednesday. Through ball attempted here from Rose. The channel's blocked. Karamalevsky, we know he loves to roam into midfield, and he's going to take the game on here. Karamalevsky being grabbed and grappled and fouled. And it's a yellow card for Dylan Rose for an arm over the shoulder. Bit of banter between the two benches after that yellow card. But there can be no arguments from Dylan Rose. And that is going to prompt a hub of activity here on the sidelines, because Rockdale, in addition to bringing on their backup goalkeeper, Stephen Kreesis, are also going to bring on Evangelos Kalamvokis and also Lucas De Souza. So triple change for Rockdale. Sydney FC have got Junior Conde, the number 23, coming on. and we'll wait to see who his replacement is going to be. If you've been enjoying a multi-screen experience, the Preston Lions have just defeated the Oakley Cannons down in the finals in Melbourne. So I'm sure there are plenty here at Ilinden today, or plenty of Rockdale fans with an affinity for Preston who will have enjoyed that. So, Junior Conde comes on. It looks like I'll get a number for the Sydney FC player coming on. Wouldn't be surprised if that's Tyler Williams over on the outer side of the pitch. In the meantime, the triple change for Rockdale goes through. Moody Najjar, Oliver Pufflet, and also I think it's Stefan Simonovsky. Indeed, Stefan Simonovsky makes way. So we've got two Callum Vokuses now on. Paul in the number 46 and Evangelos in the number 39. Chris McStay's got a free kick. Is it shooting range for him? He's certainly treating it like it is, and he's blasted it into the wall, which has done its job. Skitadis. And an attempt flies wide.
Also a substitution made for Sydney FC. Number 9, Matthias McAllister coming off. And number 23, Junior Conde going on.
Marshall Witt has dusted himself off from that earlier knock. Now it's Tay Headley's turn to be floored as Nikolovsky commits a foul on him. And confirming it was Matthias McAllister, the player coming off, so that Junior Conde could join the front three. Apologies for suggesting it was Tyler Williams, but the number 6 remains out there on the pitch, and instead it's the number 9, McAllister, who I'm sure we'll see in the Senior A-League over summer. Calls time on his winter season in the NPL. Here is Williams. Now Dylan Rose. So a raft of changes. Rockdale have now got their backup goalkeeper in. Even more senior heads have left the game in anticipation of Wednesday. Are we going to see Sydney come back into the game as a result? Marin France trying to square the ball. It's been intercepted. D'Souza can't keep possession. Been another change as well for Rockdale, with Masa Musa Swala coming on. He's in the number 40. And there is Lucas D'Souza in the number 39. Oh, everyone piling in trying to win possession. McStay and also Marchevsky, and eventually it is Rockdale winning the free kick. New faces, new names, and a new level of intensity with a bit of freshness coming off the bench. Rockdale have got themselves a throw-in coming out of the shadows over on the right-hand side. McStay. And now it's going to be Sydney FC's throw from left back as they see it. Down in the corner. Rockdale on the run. Here's the shot from Skitadis. He tried to guide it through rather than go for power. Swala follows up. Masa Musa Swala. He can shoot here, and he puts it wide left. Wow, that was a good chance for the sub coming off the bench. Rockdale certainly when they go through the opportunities they've had at 2-1 in this contest, they will absolutely feel they should have scored a third and potentially put themselves out of sight. Headley. Now Grorowski. It's Jordan Grorowski, and the shot just kept rising. He was trying to nestle it in the top right corner, lifting it over the goalkeeper. Stephen Kreesis able to do enough to force him high, and high is where the ball went. As we tick up towards 70 minutes completed and 20 to go in the home and away season. Let's do a quick check-in around the grounds, because Mount Druitt Town, even though they've been down to 10 men ever since the 15th minute, have now grabbed an equaliser. So their hopes of avoiding relegation today and getting into the playoff are still alive. Here's Junior Conde trying to slip it through, gets a second chance, and then Paul Kalamvokis is able to clear. Middleton over to Lacey. Out to the right, Marin France. France out to Marshall Witt, a cutback and clearance. Headley, second to the ball. Through comes Swallar. And the ball finds its way out as Lucas D'Souza was knocked over. It's going to be another change for Rockdale. Dean Yevchevsky is going to be next player to come in. Seen the throw in there from Evangelos Kalamvokis. Challenge comes in from Kalen Marshall-Witt. Here's Junior Conde. Good evasiveness in midfield. And now he can break out into space. The pass is not quite to the advantage of France, though. He has to wheel around, assess his options. France sees Conde. Conde with a short-range pass to Tay Headley, and now it's nicked off his toes. Skatardis is able to clear. Chris McStay. Long crossfield pass. Lucas D'Souza. Does he have an opportunity here? It's D'Souza, and the shot's on target, but not with much power. Held on to by Zavadinos, and he's quick with the overarm throw. It's end-to-end at the moment. Here's Tay Headley. Rockdale defence is high, but there's no one making the right run just yet. Dylan Rose pushes it through the left channel. Zdrilic into the middle, offside. Flag is up against Jordan Grorowski. And that will lead to another Rockdale substitution here, and the introduction of Dean Yevchevsky. No, it won't. Free kick restart taken too quickly for the referee to see on the sidelines. Sydney FC reload and go again. Zdrilic. He's made an impact since coming on. Now the ball bounces out. And the sub will go through. Chris McStay, first goal scorer of the afternoon, takes his leave to the appreciation of the fans over on the outer side. And that means the number 34, Dean Yevchevsky, comes on. So, scores elsewhere. Marconi still 3-0 up against Sutherland. Blacktown City 1-0 up against Wollongong. Mount Druitt and Sydney Spirit FC 1-1. The Mariners and Wanderers are still 0-0. Manly 2-1 up against St George. Apia 1-0 against Sydney Olympic. Rockdale here leading 2-1, and Sydney United have taken the lead against St George City. They now lead 1-0. Here's Joe Lacey. Wheels onto his right side. Lifts in the cross. Can't connect with a teammate. Conde at the fall of the ball. Edge of the area. There was a little tap of the ankles, and that leads to a Rockdale free kick and a Sydney FC substitution. Oscar Gultekin is going to come on here. And it's going to be for Tyler Williams. So Tyler Williams leaves the game, and Oscar Gultekin comes on.
Substitution for Sydney FC, number 6, Tyler Williams, making way for number 20, Oscar Gultekin.
And the trainer's been called out here for Rockdale, so they are in no hurry to restart play here. So everyone's happy. Treatment's been administered. Rockdale bench giving some instructions to Master Musa Swallar during this break in play. Flick header on. Sydney FC able to clear. Can they launch a counter-attack? Marshall Witt, Lacey. Nice intercepted by Jurovic. Callum Vokas onto Swallar. Swallar hustling but not able to beat two markers. Marshall Witt. Jags inside, leaves the ball. Well, it was a real hot potato pass for Headley. Rockdale have taken possession away. Here's Yevchevsky. And now extracted to Karabalevsky. Little sidestep. Now a 360 spin. He pulled out all the tricks in one move. Not able to score what could have been a very late contender for the top 10 goals of the season. And the ball is cleared away. Nikolovsky. Rockdale sniffing a third. No, not with that pass. It will run out for a throw-in. Bustling forward run here from Evangelos Kalamvokis. Out to Swallar. Swallar on the ball. The cross is going to tumble on. Karamalevsky makes a presence. Now a volley, and it's well wide. Michael Marchevsky connected with power, but not with any direction. And thus it found its way harmlessly out. Played by Nikolovsky to win the ball and then turn defence into attack. Lucas D'Souza cuts it inside. Yevchevsky dispossessed. Goes and wins his own ball back though. Paul Kalamvokis. Now over on the right. Karamalevsky, who's been redeployed further up the field here, and he's looking to really mark himself on the midfield. Skatatis. And that pass has turned out for a Sydney FC throw-in. But they're definitely on the back foot at the moment. Rockdale, at least at present, looking a little bit more likely for a third than Sydney are for an equaliser. Block tackle in midfield. Callum Vokas, Conde. The game's just falling into a bit of a lull here. We've got an injured Rockdale player who needs some treatment. That'll take us into the final 10 minutes. Plenty of eyes sweating on Mount Druitt against Spirit, where it is still 1-1. And up on the Central Coast, that is now the only goalless game of the day. Every other venue has had a goal, except for Mariners versus Wanderers. This match from even as early as March, we were looking at the fixture, saying they play each other on the final day. It could be a relegation decider. Well, it is very much proving to be. Middleton. Rose. Zrilic with Conde on the left side for Sydney FC. Junior Conde. Pass is collected and recycled by Gultekin. Now bustling run forward. And the shot is in. Sydney have equalised. Dylan Rose found a way through. He just took possession and refused to think of anything other than shooting.
Number 39, Dylan Rose.
Sydney FC have levelled this one up.
Rockdale 2, Sydney FC.
And as they equalise here, there has been a vital goal up at Plume Park, where Western Sydney Wanderers have taken a 1-0 lead against the Central Coast Mariners. And that could be so important to the relegation picture. This one, well, this one has the air of a dead rubber. Rockdale have mass rotated, both with their starting lineup and their substitutions. So they are very much mind on Wednesday in the semi-final. And as things stand, they will be playing Blacktown City in that semi-final, because Blacktown City lead 1-0 against the Wollongong Wolves. Sydney United lead 1-0 against St George City, but enough to have Blacktown in fifth by a point from Sydney United. So Sydney United would be heading to Marconi in the other semi-final midweek. And in the relegation battle, right now it's Western Sydney surviving, Central Coast Mariners heading to the playoff, and Mount Druitt heading down to New South Wales League One. So Sydney FC, what they're playing for at the moment is the chance to keep 10th spot on the ladder. Manly United are still leading in their game. They are 2-1 up away at St George. And that means they're on 34 points, and Sydney FC are on 33. So the young Sky Blues still need one more goal and to win this game if they want to hold on to their spot on the table and finish 10th for the season. Foul and free kick. Again, a couple of nervous looks at the clock from Rockdale. Are Sydney going to overrun them here with the remaining time they've got? Joe Lacey, he hasn't stopped running all day. Lacey, Grorowski around the corner. And as soon as that left the boot, it was skied over the crossbar. Rose, the most recent goal scorer, Marshall Witt, he's fouled by Swallar. Lacey. No whistle to his aid this time. Sydney FC keep the ball. Rose. Middleton. Sees Conde in the pocket. Conde with a little bit of space to work with. Now Headley. Lacey. France. And Lacey. Conde. A high cross. And Marshall Witt's up. It's going to fall. The keeper's scrambling to get back on his line here. Grorowski around the corner. And he guides it wide. A great chance for Sydney FC. There was a bit of chaos in the Rockdale back line, but Sydney FC not able to find a strike on target. And that takes us into the last 5 minutes of regulation. The game still delicately poised at 2-2. It looks like Rockdale's run without a win going into finals is going to be 8 games as things stand. Not for a lack of trying today. They had a heap of chances, many of them when they were enjoying that 2-1 lead. Conde. Fouled, grab of the shirt after he was able to take a neat little sidestep. So a wide free kick for Sydney FC as they try to take the lead. Wanderers have scored a second up at Plume Park. So that looks like safety for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Incredible. They've left it late, but it looks like they're going to win their final 2 games of the season in order to survive. And they're going to send the Central Coast Mariners to the playoff unless there's a late goal for Mount Druitt. Here's Rose. He's already had one solo run for a goal, and he comes up against the one man who might want to replicate it at the other end, Karamalevsky, who won the tackle. Paul Kalamvokis from right back. He's trying to step into midfield, but he comes unstuck. Conde's pass. Grorowski turns. It's Jordan Grorowski shooting and warned closely by his marker. Well defended, and through comes Swallow to win the ball away. Grorowski backtracking, refusing to let Rockdale escape their defensive half. He tumbles to the ground, but no foul. Swallow kept his feet. However, he can't find a teammate with his pass. Rose, Middleton. Sydney United have scored a second against St George City, but they won't be Rockdale's semi-final opponent as things stand. Here's Tay Headley, a cross which is dealt with at the near post. Shallow clearance and then cleared away. Sydney FC have got a throw, level with the penalty box. As we tick closer and closer to stoppage time, 2 minutes of regulation to go. Headley. France. Can't find Marshall Witt. Swallow. Really nice. He got the ball out with the back heel. Skitardis looks up and doesn't see much ahead of the ball. It's been grabbed by Marshall Witt, but the referee was blindsided to it. Here's Swallow. He's going to run the ball down on the byline. Counts it back. Kalamvokis. And now the pass through is not going to link up there from Marchevsky. It runs out for a goal kick. All right, full time at Penshurst Park. So Sydney United 58 have secured a 2-0 win. And as things stand, Blacktown City are still 1-0 up against the Wollongong Wolves. So a Wollongong Wolves equaliser would change who Rockdale plays on Wednesday. So we've still got to watch this space. In the meantime, Rockdale are trying to score a winner of their own, and the first touch just evaded the run of Musa Swallow as it runs out for a goal kick. Out of defence comes Rose. And he goes in with a pretty heavy foul on Swallow. Time to find out how many minutes of stoppage. Just the 3 to bring an end to Sydney FC's season and Rockdale's home and away campaign. So a wide free kick for Rockdale. Can they win it right at the end? Can they end their 7-game wait for a victory to take them into finals with a bit of momentum? Skitardis bending the free kick. First header Sydney FC. Paul Kalimvokis comes through. Flicked on by Nikolovsky. Well controlled, and the shot was on there for Michael Marchevsky, but after he controlled it, he wasn't able to keep it down, and he skied it out for a goal kick. Exchange of headers, Middleton, Gultekin, and now he can sprint this down. Goalkeeper comes out. Good work from Kreesis to clear it away. Second ball was almost on there for Rockdale, and now they are going to regain possession. Whipped into the box. Marshall Witt is underneath the header. Lacey, he's running. And legged, fouled by Keremalevsky. And a free kick. We've had half of stoppage time. A minute and a half of 3. So can Rockdale hold on to a draw here as Sydney venture forward? Middleton leans into the header. France. Last minute of the 3. Middleton getting some attention. Sydney hugging the left sideline. Ball breaks central. Gultekin stepped over it, but no one following through from his side. And Skitardis can steal it away for Rockdale. And now he can transition here. Swallow. Does he return it to the middle? It's Musa Swallow. He steps over and tries to shoot. It's blocked immediately. Turning on the ball is Yevchevsky. Now Keremalevsky. Waiting for the runners to get forward. Rockdale have committed plenty forward here. Can they get a ball into the box, though? The run here from Yevchevsky. It's going to go across the face. It nearly looked like it was about to nestle inside the left-hand post, but it agonisingly goes wide. And across the face and out. And that could have been a last-minute win for Rockdale on this final day of the home and away season. Instead, stoppage time expires. The referee takes a look at his watch, and Rockdale will set course for Wednesday night. They're going to end the home and away season on an 8-game winless run. It is yet another draw for Rockdale Ilinden. Their ticket to the finals was punched some time ago, and with a heavily rotated team here today, they have been able to emerge with a draw. They led twice. Chris McStay and also Moody Najjar, the goal scorers, cancelled out by equalisers from Marin France and Dylan Rose. And it means the full-time score at the Ilinden Sports Centre is Sydney FC 2, Rockdale Ilinden 2. Looking at the results elsewhere, Blacktown City has gone into stoppage time against Wollongong Wolves. So if they do take care of business and hold on, it'll be Blacktown City heading to Rockdale to take on Rockdale Ilinden, and Marconi Stallions will be playing Sydney United 58 in the other game. But go and watch the other streams as they come to their conclusion, and you'll be able to follow Football New South Wales socials in order to get all of those details about finals matches. That's it for Sydney FC's NPL season. Due to this result and Manly United winning away at St George, they have slipped down to an 11th placed finish today. So Rockdale off to the finals, and Sydney's campaign comes to an end. Thanks for your company from Ilinden this afternoon. On behalf of our broadcast partner, Sportscast Australia, my name's Teo Pellizzeri. Thanks for your company and good afternoon.